Let's get to our first guests. Former California Congressman and CEO of Trump Media and Technology Group, Devin Nunes. And Congressman, I think it's only you to start out with. Congressman, I wanted to get you to weigh in on this developing story. Federal prosecutors charging top Democrat Robert Menendez and his wife. The New Jersey senator is accused of accepting thousands in bribes to use his power to benefit the country of Egypt. Now, Menendez is chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. He's refusing to step down. There's a lot more to this indictment than just another crooked Democrat, I'm told, Congressman. Senator Menendez has a reputation of being one of the few remaining pro-American Democrats who's been a target of extremists on the left for years. What can you tell us?
Well, look, I know him, I've known him for many years. I haven't seen him in a while. And of course, what's odd about this is that he went through a long jury trial, and this was back, I want to say back in 2018, and he was basically exonerated. I think it ended in a hung jury. So you are right that this is somebody who I believe either him or his family had fled Cuba. He's definitely an anti-communist Democrat, and the left has for a long time not liked him. Matter of fact, I would say they really dislike him. There's always bad blood between the Democratic Senate leader Schumer. The Obama people really didn't like him because he was against the Iran nuclear deal. So you got to take all of that. And you also have to take that, I think we have a two-tier justice system in this country. We have these continued problems of trust of DOJ and the FBI, of which I think my opinion that I don't trust them. But look, the evidence on the other side of that coin right now, Chris, is that it's hard to believe after he finished that he would do something like this. But the pictures are pretty devastating that have come out so far. I mean, they show cash, they show gold bars. It looks really, really bad. But of course, look, we know about the Mar-a-Lago document hoax raid where they made it look like Donald Trump had documents all over his office. So who knows what to believe at this point.
I hear you. I hear you. Trish Regan, now joining us now, host of the Trish Regan Show on Apple Podcasts. Look, the timing of this indictment on Menendez, it comes as a third whistleblower, Trish, details DOJ corruption in the Hunter Biden investigation. Politico releasing the full transcript, which lays out how David Weiss was not the deciding person on charging Hunter Biden. This, of course, contradicts sworn testimony from the Attorney General Merrick Garland. I think I have to point this out, Trish. It is illegal to lie to Congress. High-profile left-wing extremists, though, they get to do it all the time. James Clapper, John Brennan, Merrick Garland, they've reportedly done so. Shouldn't the GOP, I don't know, be more willing to enforce the law and actually take pride in the institution they're working in and actually follow up on charges?
I mean, yeah, you're preaching to the choir on this. I mean, I can't believe that this is not moving forward with some more velocity, right? Because we have seen all the evidence thus far, certainly surrounding Hunter. I mean, why have they not come out and even at least indicted him with the fact that he was lobbying right there? He was a foreign lobbyist and never even bothered to register. He didn't pay his taxes. Then you learn, of course, in California, David Weiss trying to bring forward charges, and a third whistleblower, as you just mentioned, now saying that his hands were tied. So if it were me and I were running that. I mean, look, I don't wish this on anyone, but listen, they've got to do a better job at tracking all of this stuff down. They've got to do a better job finding the CEO and the CFO of Burisma that have alleged 17 tapes where Biden was working some kind of, again, these are all allegations, right? But why isn't anybody chasing them down? They certainly did their part to go after the so-called dirty dossier that was nothing but misinformation.
Right. And I'm looking at the law, and I was expecting to say it's illegal to lie to Congress unless you're a Democrat, unless you're a left-wing extremist. That exception doesn't exist anywhere, so I'm wondering why Republicans don't take the law more seriously. Congressman, the GOP is at a standstill, as you know, with spending, as a shutdown is mere days away if they don't come to some sort of an agreement. Senate Republicans are reportedly predicting that Speaker McCarthy is going to use Democrats to get the proper votes to keep the government open. Now, if he does this, let me ask you, it's a two-part question here. If he does that, isn't his speakership effectively over? And why do you think the current crop of lawmakers are incapable of producing 12 spending bills. It's something we call regular order, you know, as the grown-ups used to do in Congress, you know, all these many decades ago.
Well, to be fair, Chris, it's a little bit of a misnomer that the Congress has functioned very well for a long, long time. And I say that as somebody who spent the last 2 decades in Congress. So this process has been broken a long time. I think people have to be careful, you know, blaming McCarthy because, you know, he's very skilled. He works hard. He's a close friend of mine. And he's working with a 5-seat majority. And so that effectively means that if 5 Republicans just decide they don't want to do something, then they can just stop it. And here's the danger. And my recommendation has been they should not close down the government. I think that's a really bad idea. What they should do is focus on what are the 2 big issues as to why they're not going to do a permanent funding bill like the Senate Republicans had agreed to a year ago, which I think kind of created this situation. It wasn't Kevin McCarthy or the Republicans in the House's fault. It was the Senate Republicans is how we got here. So if you talk about messaging and you know about the propaganda fake news, I think the Republicans need to be very clear. What are the 2 most important issues at the highest level? To me, it's quite clear. You've got the 2-tiered justice system, the corrupt Justice Department and FBI. And 2, you have a wide open border with 8 million people coming across. To me, what McCarthy and the Republicans should do, and the Republicans who don't want to agree to anything, they should say, we're gonna go every 14 days or every 30 days, and we will not fund the government until those 2 problems are fixed. But here's the danger if you allow the government to shut down, and this is what I'm worried about. Republicans have multiple investigations going, subpoenas going out. A lot of these are people that are government officials. Government shuts down, all of that will stop. A lot of it will reset. It'll come to almost a snail's pace, and they will lose time on a government that is running amok across the board.
Now, I think you're right about the Senate Republicans, and I wasn't blaming Mr. McCarthy. I'm just wondering why all of a sudden it's so hard to actually, everybody knew you had to pass a budget. Everybody knew regular order. That used to be their job, but it seems they're distracted doing some other things other than what's required by law. Trish, I wanted to get your reaction to Biden's likely replacement, we're being told, California Governor Gavin Newsom, putting on a little bit of a performance at the UN this week. Watch.
It's time for us to be a lot more clear. This climate crisis is a fossil fuel crisis. This climate crisis persists. It's not complicated. It's not complicated.
Okay, so a lot of folks calling this an audition tape. First off, what is the governor of California doing speaking at the United Nations, number one?
Auditioning.
And he's still running for president, right?
Yes, he so is. He's been running for president forever. This is absolutely in his orbit, in his aspirations. And you know what? I think he would be, in some ways, if he didn't have the California legacy behind him, a pretty formidable candidate, right? Because he's young, he's good looking, he kind of checks all those boxes. I mean, maybe some people find him a little phony, but, you know, he's got more personality than some of the other politicians we've seen out there. The problem for Gavin is that he has a state that has been an absolute positive mess. So he has no record whatsoever to run on. The other problem for him is, well, just think about this. If all of a sudden Gavin Newsom comes in out of nowhere and takes it away from Kamala Harris, who's sort of the anointed one, right? She's black, she's female, so she checks certain boxes. I know nobody likes her. I mean, just look at her polling back in New Hampshire. It is a train wreck. Like, she's got no shot in HELL of getting anywhere. The Democrats know that, which is why Mr. Newsom is waiting in the wings. But now people are talking about a third player, Chris, and that third player is someone who would be black, would be female, maybe would help abate some of the negativity if they were to give it to somebody other than Kamala Harris, and that is Michelle Obama. So that's a whole other can of worms that's being discussed as a potential play. I mean, like, I don't know how they can run Joe. I really don't. I mean, he is getting so fragile, so weak. His mind is not what it was, and not that he was ever the sharpest guy, but he's not there. And it's going to be, they've got to come up with someone. So yes, Gavin's audition.
Look, yeah, you know, Gavin Newsom, you know, he's got great hair, he's got a great smile, he's got great personality. Of course, he governs like a dumpster fire. California's a dumpster fire, but other than that, he's a great guy. Devin Nunes, Trish Regan, Appreciate the time as always.